Hey guys, Rand Young here, Under the Radar. And this is actually a very bittersweet episode of Under the Radar. We lost a very talented actor and comedian, Mr. Jerry Stiller. You may know him from Seinfeld, from The King of Queens, and from the comedy duo of himself and Ann Mira, his wife, who they basically performed for numerous decades and appeared on The Carol Burnett Show and The Ed Sullivan Show. And I just wanted to bring you guys here because I know that you're big Seinfeld fans, King of Queens fans, and just fans of Jerry Stiller as a person. And I just wanted to honor him tonight by just, sharing some of our favorite moments from his career. So, Leslie, you're new to the show. I'll start with you. What are some favorite moments, some favorite Seinfeld episodes?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, this is my first time on your show. Oh my heavens! After 3 years, here I am.
Here you are.
All we had to wait for is for a pandemic, and then you got me on your show.
I know.
Yeah. So hello, Under the Radar fans. I think I don't know much about his career, to be honest. In fact, that's pretty cool to hear that he was on Carol Burnett Show and Ed Sullivan Show. My only experience of him is probably King of Queens, but I never watched it regularly. I think I really liked his persona on Seinfeld as George Costanza's very neurotic, crazy, particular dad. More specifically, I think because I could really relate with his character. In many ways, he reminds me like my dad. My dad collects TV guides. My dad's from Queens. My dad has a very short temper. So I think that's one of the things I could relate to about his performance in general. I think he played a really great, that particular character. Mm-hmm. And my favorite episode is definitely got to be the one Festivus.
Of
for
course.
The rest of us.
Yes.
That is like the best, especially when he talks about how the origins of Festivus, how it was for a doll that George wanted.
That eventually got destroyed.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm sad to hear that he passed away. How old was he? 93?
92.
92.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like he lived one hell of a life.
Yeah. And he was married. He was with his wife for, I think, over 60 years or so. And
hang on, I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, I know. We're getting our first responders applause and pot banging session. So, Rachel, what stands out when you think Jerry Stiller? Like, what? Because I know you know his career a little bit better than us. I think, at least more than myself.
I mean, the thing about Jerry Stiller is that he's kind of the last of his kind of comedian from that specific era of like the 50s and 60s that would be on like Ed Sullivan, that would be on these late night shows. And that particular style of comedy isn't really something that you see as much anymore. And it isn't as much of a big deal to like make it onto the late night shows because there's so many other avenues that comedians can take now. And the fact that he came up in all of it with his wife as a comedy team is also really extremely unusual, especially because comedy is very much a boys' club, and it was very much considered that for a long time. And their comedy, if you watch it, like it is very funny, it's very smart, and it still holds up a lot of it. Like I think I sent you the Carol Burnett sketch that they did, where they're talking about Nixon visiting China, but doing it from the perspective of the Chinese people welcoming Nixon to come visit.
I looked at a few of them, and there was one where Carol Burnett was, she played like this like very high class woman with her husband, and they were welcoming their son's daughter, their new daughter-in-laws, the in-laws basically, and they were like total opposite. And that was really funny. It's just really smart humor.
But the one thing they can agree on is that a wedding does not belong in a street.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's what I really loved about him, was that you could just see in all of his performances with his wife just how much he loved her, how much the two of them just cared about each other.
Yeah.
And the fact that that was how they started their career. And I believe for Anne, I think that it was actually one of her last roles was the two of them in Planes, Fire, and Rescue together, playing a couple on vacation.
Were they humans or were they planes?
They were cars. They had like basically like a little car, like a ski resort, basically, that they're staying at. And they're this older couple that never go on vacation, and they've been saving up for years and years, and they're finally going on vacation together. I just remember them being the one real, like, the thing that stood out, because they were kind of the comedy relief in it.
Nice. And that had to have been like 5 years ago or so. So that was their last work together. So
yeah.
It's a nice way to go out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was just one more that I was going to mention, because they were also in Disney's Heavyweights together, because they play the campers that have the camp before there's financial mismanagement, and the whole line about don't let anyone else sign your checks.
And they were there with their son, Ben. So that was awesome.
Yes.
Cool.
Were
Jerry,
they also both in Zoolander with him?
I know that
Jerry
was.
Or
Yeah.
Did she pass away already?
I think she was still alive when the first one came out, but I don't think she was the first one.
Yeah.
I think she passed away, by the second one. But what was his name? Ballstein? So funny. Jared, obviously we are, we're big Seinfeld fans. We're sign heads. I just coined that phrase.
Yes.
What jumps to mind, Jerry Stiller wise, for you?
Of course, Frank Costanza. I think at least 10 times a day.
Yeah.
Every day. I love the Jewish singles episode where he comes back, from his horrible cooking accident.
Right. Everyone gets sick.
And then and then the hand model episode where George has already moved back with them, I think. And the bananas in the
I get to put the bananas in there for.
He has so many classic lines, so great. And then I never watched King of Queens either when it was on originally. I just started watching it through syndication. And at first I didn't really like him because I couldn't separate Frank Costanza from him. But now he's really grown on me as Arthur Spooner.
I mean, they are similar characters though. But I think Arthur is a lot more subdued.
Yeah, I mean they are kind of different, but they seemed at first like they were alike. But as I watched more and more, it was more of a different character, I thought. But I mean he was great. He was awesome. Of course, I mentioned Zoolander. He was also in an episode of Larry Sanders. I don't remember which one though.
And I think they actually had a different actor in the earlier episodes, played by John Randolph. And then he was in one or two, Jared, or something like that. Or
I think.
Yeah. And then it just didn't work, so they got Jerry, and it was home run.
That's so interesting. I remember with Jerry's father, they did the same thing.
Yeah.
But I don't remember who was George's father in the beginning.
Yeah, it's in the handicapped episode, the handicap spot.
Yeah. Didn't they filmed two versions of that?
Yeah. And then I forget the other one.
No, I don't know.
But yeah, not as good.
Not as good. He was decent though, John Randolph. But
yeah.
Jerry just brought this energy to the role that was unmatched. Oh my God. I have a few moments here. The bro or the manzier. That was
nice.
Yeah.
That's a great moment.
Classic. And all of his dealings with Kramer, trying to get certain products off the ground, and the raincoats, and and then Larry David as Frank's lawyer with the cape.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so random. cooking for his fellow soldiers. You just mentioned that, Jared, and yelling at George Steinbrenner upon meeting him for the first time.
Yes.
Also, when he was sold computers. Out of
Yeah.
Yes,
Lloyd
yes,
Braun.
yes, yes.
Lloyd Braun. Yeah, that's a great one.
That's
The
a
phone
great
wasn't
episode.
even hooked up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were giving away a water pick, right?
Yeah.
A water pick, yeah.
And she's like, "You're not giving away the water pick." You guys remember from the Festivus episode that just that tape recording and how many laughs he gets just out of his voice from that scene.
I think, guys, we should do a Festivus party this year. I mean, even if we're, hopefully, God forbid, we're not in quarantine, we should do it on Zoom. Festivus party right here.
With an aluminum pole.
Yeah, I gotta find one. Oh my God.
How funny.
It's not so much episodes that you remember, it's moments, like these really explosive moments of comedy. And it's really, it's a shame. He was really, really different, really unique. And Rachel, that was very true what you said, that one of the last great comedians of his generation. So
yeah,
we'll see.
And also the bloopers were iconic.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The Del Boca Vista where he and then him and Elaine
where he keeps saying, "Do you want a piece of me?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Classic.
Del Boca Pico.
I mean, the character basically, I think some people actually celebrate Festivus. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys heard of this at all, or?
Yeah.
It's like a real thing.
When we went to that place in Brooklyn, that bar, we did Seinfeld trivia there, and we both got a Happy Festivus shirt.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, that was actually at Videology. Side note, they're closed now, and that was a phenomenal place. It was a bar that would show, random movies and TV shows. They would do trivia, and they had good drinks too. So, Jared, any King of Queens moments that think of that really stand out?
It's actually on right now. I've been watching it all day. It's on Lifetime and I think Paramount at the same time all day. But they show the exact same episodes every single day. But I still watch it.
They at the same time. They used to do that with Seinfeld and Friends, I think. They still probably do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's on at the same time on two different things.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the one where in King of Queens where he tried, like, he was like actively selling the house, putting like the house on the market and selling it to people, and Doug and Carrie had no idea.
Wait, was he like a real estate guy in that? He was pretending?
No, he just he got like an offer from somebody, and he put it out like an ad in the paper or something, and he started like getting offers. Yeah, that one, the one where he got braces was funny. I like the one where he won like $2,500 playing bingo, and they trick him into giving him some of the money for a refrigerator, but they end up getting like a really crappy one and spending the rest on things that they wanted. Oh, and the one where he's addicted to nose spray.
I think I remember that one.
That's funny. No, he's great.
So in terms of movies, so Rachel, Heavyweights and Zoolander, I think those are the two that really stand out.
Yeah. I mean, he would constantly appear like in these little bit part roles.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think he had a lot more appearances on television than he did in film. Like he would do these one-off bits in like The Love Boat, in Love American Style. Again, like the fact that he comes out of that era of comedy that unfortunately, now we're like starting to see a lot of them die off because, I mean, he was in his 90s and, that he was still working all these decades later.
I know. I will miss that old school approach to comedy. I don't think the comedians of today have that.
Well, I will say that obviously what I mentioned before about like late night having changed so much, and comedy like not having to come up and not like having to appear on the late night shows to get that broader audience. even before the quarantine, you saw like the late night shows really changing in their format. And now post quarantine, they're going to be even more so closer to, say, what YouTubers are doing now, I think, than probably what Ed Sullivan was doing.
Leslie, what do you think about comedy today? Are there any comedians that stick out to you, like, and especially with the quarantine?
I mean, of course, Jerry Seinfeld. I like his stuff. Dave Chappelle. There's this other guy that I think is really cool. I can't remember his name. Dimitri, I think is his name.
Dimitri Martin?
Yes, thank you. He is hilarious. I love him. I don't know who else I could think of. Chris Rock.
John Mulaney. He's so funny. He's very funny. He's got a couple stand-up specials, and he used to be a writer on SNL, and then he left to do a TV show that got canceled, but he's been back and hosted a bunch of times since then and has been pretty successful.
That's cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And then that Italian guy, Sebastian something. Maniscalco.
Oh, Maniscalco.
Maniscalco or something, yeah. He's hilarious.
I think the most recent comedy special I saw was Mark Maron on Netflix. And he also has a great podcast if you guys are interested. Yeah, really smart.
I'm glad that I checked my notes because I would have forgotten to mention Jerry Stiller's appearances in both the original movie Hairspray as Mr. Turnblad, owner of the joke shop, and then in the remake he plays Mr. Pinky, who is the owner of the plus size dress shop.
All right.
So it was very cool that they brought him back to play that role.
Nice.
What year was that?
The remake was in 2007.
The original was 88.
You know that Randy could tell you any movie release year.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I'm pretty good with movie years. I don't know why.
Pretty much like what? 80s and 90s?
Yeah, basically like
2000s.
80s into like mid 90s or so.
It was 88 because also I think that was Divine's last movie, and it was also most acclaimed movie out of her filmography.
Was that John Waters?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I just want to talk a little bit about Seinfeld as a whole. Some of your favorite episodes. I want to do like maybe top 2 or 3. What comes to mind? Favorite episode ever, Leslie?
Well, definitely India. That is like one of the most unique episodes out of all of the Seinfeld ones. So that's the first one that comes to mind. What's next? I think
India was backwards episode, right?
Yeah, that's the backwards episode, right? Festivus, of course. What other episode did the one with the tryptophan, where Jerry kept getting his girlfriend drunk to play with her toy. That one was the best. The Puerto Rican parade, that is classic.
Yeah,
right.
We're known, but yeah, it's funny.
Did the Puerto Rican parade have Cedric and Bob? Were they in that one, Jared? You might know.
Yeah.
Cedric and Bob?
Yeah, when they were burning the flag, or when.
Right, yes. They're like, who burned the flag?
The 2 street cups.
Those guys, yeah, they came out in a couple of episodes.
I think they were dead 3 or something like that.
Soup Nazi.
Puerto Rican Day Parade.
What's that? The Puerto Rican Day Parade and
the ribbon. Who wants to wear what episode was the ribbon? Was that Puerto Rican Day?
No, the AIDS Walk.
Okay, so that's
I don't remember what episode that was.
It's where Jerry got the girl's number out of a phone book, and I think George, his storyline was he was telling too much to his wife, Susan, or something. I don't know. I forget.
Sounds sort of right. Rachel, favorite episode?
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the TV Guide episode because it also features another wonderful actor who we sadly recently lost to cancer, who also appeared, he was on Scrubs, really very talented actor, Sam Lloyd. Eric coming to the rescue, my Scrubs head husband.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Sam Lloyd?
Yeah, he unfortunately has been battling cancer for the past year, but he's really wonderful in in the TV Guide episode. I mean, it was such a fine line to walk with that character that he could be incredibly creepy and awful. And I think that every woman in New York has experienced something like that at some point, of the unwanted conversation with some random person on the subway that you don't really want to talk to, but they just keep talking at you. But he plays it with such a sweetness and just kind of awkwardness that it works.
Yeah.
And I mean, and of course it has the wonderful subplot with the fact that George's dad collects all these TV guides and they're all in like mint condition, and he's upset because she gets the sauce on it.
From the gyro.
Yes, the gyro sold on the platform.
I love it. How do they prepare? I guess they're already prepared, so they're just there, and you just pay for it, and you okay. Jared,
I've never seen that.
Oh, it's a great episode.
No, like
no. I'm saying like the getting gyros on the Queens Plaza station.
That does not exist anywhere. Sadly.
I wonder if it ever existed.
Yeah.
It seems like something that would exist. Yeah.
That is a good trivia question.
They got kicked out with the mango people. With the bags of sliced mango.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah. Folks. And the churros, yeah.
They should just replace that with gyros. It's sad.
I wanted to show something really quickly. So I saw this online a while ago, and I did some research, and I think you guys will like it. So it's a Seinfeld yearbook. Oh.
What?
It was handed out to the cast and crew at the season finale wrap party.
Oh man!
And I actually scanned it and put it online. But it's really cool. Actually, you know what? Here, hang on one second. Let me.
Did everyone on the crew get that?
Apparently, yeah.
Cool. Here. That is very cool.
Yeah. I'll share some photos.
Wow.
But it's really cool. Like a bunch of behind-the-scenes photos.
Ross is awesome.
They did like an actual yearbook of all the group members.
Wow, that's cool.
I see Julia. Yep.
But yeah, no, it comes with like old memos, scans of old memos from NBC.
Al Ripple, I love it. Love it.
Yeah, no, really cool.
Final days.
Hernandez.
Keith Hernandez.
I can send you the link if you want.
Yeah.
And then this isn't real, but it's printed.
Oh my God! Wow, look at that.
That's still really
cool.
Apartment 5A rules.
Yeah, but it says, the Seinfeld yearbook was published by the blah, blah, blah plant in California. The book was printed on 80-pound paper, blah, blah, blah. It says 350 copies were made during the only run for distribution to the cast and crew. The book went to press for the August 24th ship date. Production began January 30th, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, cool. Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
But for me, I think in terms of favorite episodes, I like the earlier ones. All of the earlier ones are a lot. They have really good dialogue between Jerry and George. The chemistry they have in the first few seasons is amazing, and it kind of gets cartoony in the last two seasons. Like the premises and the plots they're just like kind of over the top, and they're just not that believable. But for me, the movie,
I haven't really seen them in order. Like,
oh, really?
I've seen them entirely out of order. So, so I know like that there's the era when George is working for the Yankees, and like I know certain eras of it and certain moments from it, but I definitely would not be able to tell you like which season the Elaine dance is in. I have no idea.
Well, it's a show you don't really have to watch in order. Like they just come on TV and you just watch. But for me, I like to go in order with any series. But so the earlier episodes are really the movie where George keeps coming back to the usher to get the ticket ripped. And he ends up giving everybody all three tickets to the ticket taker. And just George gets so frustrated. It's so good in that episode. The whole episode, he's just pissed off. And same thing with the dinner party, where George wants to bring a giant bottle of Pepsi and Ring-Dings to a party. And
the Gore-Tex.
Yeah, big coat. That is another classic in my book.
Yeah.
And then the parking garage, where they all get pissed off at each other trying to find the car.
Air conditioner,
where they hid the air conditioner. Because apparently that's important, but the car is that's irrelevant. Yeah, and then one of the later episodes, the dealership. I think that was a really funny one. It was ridiculous as well. Where George just wants his Twix bar and keeps getting gypped by this mechanic who steals his bar.
Apparently Jerry just came out with a new stand-up.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think, right?
Yeah,
the comedians drinking coffee.
No,
No.
it's a new stand-up special.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a new one.
23 Hours to Kill, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Probably gonna watch it this weekend. Well, guys, any final thoughts regarding Jerry Stiller?
King of Queens is still on. He's not in the scene, but his memory will be kept alive through syndication.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many good memories growing up watching him.
Indeed.
Yeah, no one will forget Frank Costanza.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh
What
my
a character.
God. Classic.
Yeah, he really has work that appeals to like all generations. Like whether it was like his old stand-up with Anne all the way up through his work with Disney. I didn't even mention Teacher's Pet, which he was also in. But it's really wonderful that he has a body of work that can be enjoyed by people of all ages.
Yeah. And I was actually watching a few of his videos on the Cal Burnett and Ed Sullivan. They just had such great chemistry, Harry and Anne. And to work together and to be married for 60 plus years, that is amazing. Just to combine your love for each other with your love for the craft of acting, of comedy, and to just, keep going, and just love each other. That's really sweet. So
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, do you guys have any plugs while we're here? Jared?
No.
Nothing?
I have nothing.
Nothing? Okay. That's fine.
Nothing to plug.
Okay. Rachel, anything?
You can find my my movie and TV thoughts and occasional political rants over on Rachel E. Kolb on Twitter. You can find my theater stuff at ludusnyc.com.
Excellent. And of course, guys, if you're watching right now, feel free to subscribe to the Under the Radar YouTube channel. We'd love to have you. And guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. This was amazing as we honor this legendary comedian. So thank you all, and serenity now.